Sometimes it takes a while. And this time it's not. We're
Yeah.
live.
There you go.
Never know.
We're live.
We're live on YouTube. And it's 7 o'clock, Jerry, whenever you want to start.
Okay, thank you, Virginia. Good evening and welcome to the Borough of Clark Summit Council meeting, January the 6th, 2020. In attendance, we have Ms. Lopez,
Present.
Ms. Simrel,
Present.
Chief Yarns,
Present.
Mr. Jenkins,
Present.
Mr. Mitchell,
Present.
Mr. Johnson,
He's on mute.
He's on mute for some reason.
okay.
And I can't unmute him. He must have done that.
Yeah, he's got to do it.
Oh, Harry's joining us.
Great.
Hi, Harry.
Hello,
We just started the meeting. Jerry's doing attendance.
very good.
And you're just in time because I was just ready to call your name, Mr. Kelly.
I planned it that way. Yeah.
Good job, thank you. Mr. Shields,
Present.
our junior counsel is absent this evening, but he called and asked to be excused. And Ms. Kehoe,
Here.
thank you. The first item on our agenda, we'll have a moment of meditation. And then we will have our mayor lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Mayor's still on mute.
It's gonna be tough.
Okay. So we'll go with our Vice President, Harry Kelly then.
All right, we'll have a moment of meditation, please. And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Where's our junior councilman? Maybe he'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
No,
for us.
he
He's
just
absent.
call off.
Yes.
Oh, he's not here. Okay. Okay,
I pledge
He's
allegiance
absent.
Pledge allegiance. to
Pledge
the
allegiance
flag
to the flag
Of the
of the
United
United
States.
States of America
America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
Nation.
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty,
and
justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. First item on our agenda is we have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Josh. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ronnie, on the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. The next item is the approval of our minutes for the December 2nd council meeting. We have a motion to approve that agenda.
A motion.
Thank you, Kathleen. We have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second. Oh.
Okay, Josh. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Next item is our public comment and input. Do we have any comments, Virginia, or input?
No, the only thing we have, and it wasn't a public comment, it's just correspondence, so I have it under correspondence.
Okay, thank you. Next item on our agenda is
It's actually, excuse me, is that Mr. Coleman's correspondence or?
yes.
Yes,
Okay, and that, we'll put that on the agenda for next month or?
no, it's under correspondence, so
Okay,
we'll discuss it later on. Correspondence is at the end of the meeting, but it is on
Okay.
the agenda for tonight.
oh, great, thank you.
And then
Okay.
Virginia, also the correspondence from the fire company as well.
Well, actually, I put that information with the resolution about Commonwealth Health, since
Okay.
I thought the two discussions were pertinent to each
Okay.
other.
That makes sense.
So it is on there.
Thank you. Next item is our police report. We have our police report in front of us. Does anybody have any questions for our chief or does our chief have any information he would like to relay back to council?
Yeah, there's just a couple things. First of all,
Chris, you got to get closer to the mic.
okay, just a few things we have here. Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
Yeah, we have some of our officers started getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I think we have a total of 8 officers so far that have. We have 2 officers off sick with the COVID, and we have another officer off sick on another matter. But so we're dealing with that. But other than that, everything's running smooth. We're doing well. Like I said, we get with the vaccine. The other thing I wanted to bring up tonight too was there was an email I sent to everybody about Sunset Street.
That's Jim Coleman's that correspondence that we were going to talk about later. But yeah,
Right.
if you have some observation you want to make.
I have to agree with him. I think Sunset Street should be local truck traffic only. I don't know why people are traveling. He claims 4 tractor trailers in the last few months have pulled on Sunset and went out towards Jefferson Street. I don't know if they have their GPS in pedestrian mode instead of truck mode. There's a car mode, pedestrian mode, and maybe it directed them that way. The GPS did, or I'm reaching out to MetLife to make sure that they have informed their contractors, the vendors, that they get the truck traffic not to come through there. I don't know what council wants to do about making a street where it says no truck traffic, would be like local deliveries only. I think truck traffic shouldn't be on that street. So, if council wants to discuss that. The other thing is, I brought this up last meeting, but I have some very strong concerns about the vehicle fleet. We have 2 vehicles that are, one's got 90,000 miles on it, the other one's got over 100,000 miles on it, and the one that has the newer one that's got 90,000 is kind of rotting from underneath. They're just getting. The last time we bought a car was in 2016. It is now entering 2021. It's just time to get some new cars this year. I hope we get the grant, but we don't, or even if we do, we might have to consider getting 2 cars and not 1. I kind of warned council about this last year. I said, the more you let it go, they just get older and older, and more miles on them. Every time you let it go another year. So now we're kind of starting to get behind the 8 ball. So that's all I have. If there's any questions about the Sunset Street or the cars, I'd like to hear.
Okay.
Chris, if I can make a comment, I agree with your assessment as far as the letter. I'm sure Bob has further comment on it since it's up in his neighborhood. However, I think what we should also do is, and I said it in a reply that I replied on the email message to everybody. I hope everybody got it, but I also feel PennDOT should be involved in this too with signage. And I have absolutely no objection to local truck signs, local truck traffic only, for delivery purposes. And maybe they have a sign out there that forbids tractor trailers, restriction on tractor trailers to the local roads, with the exception of moving vans. I can't imagine how big the sign would be to get all that on it, what I just said, but there must be a sign out there that has something that would give that type of a message out to people who come up there, that, if you have a moving van, you're okay to go on the road because you have a specific reason you're going in to either move somebody in or move somebody out. However, there's got to be another way to do it. But I definitely believe that we should eliminate tractor trailers on our local roads. Maybe we need to put an order in for a dozen or so signs, because I don't think Sunset is the only street we have problems with. We've had issues on Park Avenue before, and I know we use signage over there too. Now, how much it helped, I don't know. And I think we also used it on Highland Avenue. And I certainly don't think it's a bad idea, because it's going to save the police department, the fire department, pretty much the neighborhoods, a lot of aggravation if we put it up there that no vehicles over a certain tonnage are allowed on our streets. And I think we can do that. Grove Street, we have to approach that differently because it's a state highway. So we have to go through PennDOT.
Dave, if I want to step in here for a second, the signage that we normally put up for something like this would just say, no truck traffic, no trucks allowed over like a certain amount of points, except local deliveries. You can't restrict a delivery truck coming, like say they're building a new house, say they're putting a new roof on it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So as long as this local deal, I think what's happening here now, West Grove Street, there's always going to be truck traffic on that.
Sure.
I think what's happening is, because what Mr. Coleman indicated to me is that GPS on their vehicles, he had spoken to one of the drivers, told them to go that way. And there, a lot of GPS is like 3 different modes. You have pedestrian mode, car mode, and truck mode. And if you have it in the wrong mode, like pedestrian mode, it may say, hey, let's walk this way. It's shorter this way to walk,
Right.
But that may be a driver error right there, as far as that's concerned. But by posting the road right at the intersection of West Grove, no truck traffic, I think that will help, at least for Sunset. Because turning down Sunset, then turning on the Sleepy Hollow with an 18-wheeler is just, it's a nightmare. They should be on that road.
Chris, along that same line, or Bob, maybe you would know the answer to this too. Do we have any issues coming in the other way off of the Morgan Highway with truck traffic, or no?
I'm not aware of anybody doing it that way. Going that way. It's coming off of Sunset. I actually, honestly, I want to thank Mr. Coleman for bringing it to my attention, because I don't think we've ever had any complaints about that until just now. But he's right on the mark. They shouldn't be up there. I don't know why they're doing it. I suspect it's more operator driver error than anything else. But
sure,
the signage might help. Because maybe when they look at the sign, they go, "Oh, I better not go on there."
Right.
I can't imagine they would want to intentionally go on there anyway, because it's much easier as a truck driver to go and turn left up. So I think it's just people that don't know the area, first time up here type thing.
Okay.
And Chief,
Madam President,
Also, in regards to the situation, Chief, if you would be willing to designate where you felt the sign should appropriately be. And that
Madam
way,
President,
yes.
can I make a recommendation? If we're going to restrict truck traffic on borough roads, we're gonna have, and want to install signage indicating that, we have to do it by way of an ordinance. So what I would recommend maybe is having this issue assigned to a committee, so that, I don't know if whatever applicable committee that would be, maybe public safety committee or whatever, to identify the streets where we would want these restrictions put in place. And then they'd come back to me and we could craft an ordinance and then bring it to council for their review, so that we only do it in one shop.
Good idea, Kevin.
Because we don't want to do multiple ordinances because it's expensive. And then we do it all at once.
Okay.
It
That's fine.
also Chief Yarns, I did notice one of the tractor trailers earlier this month. I didn't know there was 4 of them, but you're going to reach out to the logistics department at MetLife and inform them that, because my understanding is the truck drivers are using the GPS and they're coming off West Grove Street and they're just going through the residential neighborhood because the GPS tells them to.
Right.
So we'll be in you'll let MetLife know that maybe they need to just let their people who are making deliveries know that they need to avoid that or do something with their GPS.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm not sure. There's other businesses up there, so I'm not sure if it's exclusively to MetLife. If it's their issue, I'm not sure. What I'm sure they have many different companies and many different drivers. So you may get a strange driver for the first time. They didn't get the memo, but it seems to me it's got to be a GPS issue, a driver error issue. I don't think it happens to all the drivers. I think they don't have a program properly, but that's my take on it, my suspicion on it.
Well, Mr. Coleman lives in that neighborhood. He actually lives, his house is right at the,
Right.
right by Jefferson. And he told me
I-
he spoke with multiple truck drivers and they all informed him the GPS told him to go this way.
Right,
So-
yeah, and I believe him. I believe that's probably just, that's something, I don't know how you get the GPS fixed, but I wouldn't know how to do that. But the signage would help a lot down the road, because if they see the sign and we make it visible, so it's out near West Grove, so they can see it before they turn in there and go, oh, shoot, I can't turn in here,
I think maybe, Chris, just to make sure it doesn't happen on the other end, we should maybe put something up there on Jefferson Street also.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. I think you should post both ends, because anytime you make the street that way, you might as well post it at both ends,
Mhm.
So
Okay.
the whole street's that way. Plus, I think
All right.
legally it makes it much clearer that the whole street is not that way. So, yeah.
And also one
Thank
more question, Chief, on the GPS, if there is signage there, the GPS would be able to identify that and not send the trucks in that direction. Am I correct on that or not?
I don't know how that works. I imagine, hopefully someday it would be corrected. I'm familiar with some of these GPS systems. They do have ability to submit
Yeah.
corrections, and maybe that will help.
If they're updated.
Yeah, right. And
If they're not updated, then
that may take a while to get through the system, but
Mhm.
yeah, I would think so, Madam President. I think that.
Chief
Okay.
Yarns, what would be the ramifications for a tractor trailer being on that road once there is signage? Just a citation?
Well, it depends how the ordinance is written. It's usually, most of the time, we would cite them for obedience to traffic control devices, which is basically not obeying a signage or a roadway. Or, that's a state law. If there's a legally posted sign there from the borough or city or whatever that's legally posted, we can cite them under that section. Or if it's over a certain tonnage, and we could cite them for being overweight. Or the way the ordinance is crafted itself, we could cite them under our borough ordinance.
Okay.
So the best enforcement most
Right,
likely
I
be
think
a resident seeing them on that road and then they call it in.
Oh, that way. I'm sorry. I thought you meant how we would write them a citation. I apologize for that. Oh, no, we would be, if we see them, obviously we're going to stop them. They could slip up there, turn off the street before we know it. So yeah, we call it. We could try to shoot up there and stop them. We'll try.
So I have a question. Are we handing this off to the Public Safety Committee then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I will be in touch.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Chief.
And once again, I like to, have the finance committee or something explore the option on a cars. I'm really concerned about the cars, especially the unmarked cars. It seems like I'm always getting bills for that, getting that thing fixed. Man, already this year, and it's not even a whole week into the year, I spent $400 some on that car.
Chris,
Yeah.
It's
We're
Eric.
right on top of that too, Chief, and we want to make sure that we go in that direction with the need.
What
Jared,
kind of a
say-
vehicle are you looking at, Chief, to replace the unmarked car?
No, they don't make sedans anymore for police package. So we'd probably go with something like the two marked cars we have now. The other two, it's probably in a Ford Explorer base model. They seem to be the most popular, the most cheapest, the most abundant, and most
Okay.
available. The other models can be more expensive, a little harder to get. They seem to be the most available.
Okay. All right, Chief, thank you.
Yeah. Jerry, Chris,
Yes,
Chief. Yeah, did we apply for a grant to get money for a couple of cars?
we did, and I kind of waiting for that, but I don't know if Madam President had heard anything. I spoke to her, I haven't heard anything, but we are kind of, hopefully that'll come through. I don't know.
Yeah, you and the mayor applied for it, right?
I played the mayor, Dave Jacobs
Yeah.
helped us with that. Yeah.
It might have been some kind of a national program for money for vehicles, yeah.
Oh, this was
It was.
this particular grant we applied was the gaming money.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You might be
Yeah, you're
confused. I got a grant out there that we might have received the email on last month was regarding the bulletproof, the body cameras.
Cameras.
Yeah.
And we have to
Yes.
wait until March, which sounds like we might get the money, but we can't buy it before then. Then we can't use that money, those expenses until they get approved, So the grant gets
Yeah.
approved. So,
Yeah, I was pretty sure we applied. I was reasonably certain. Anyway, yeah. All right, I just put my 2 cents in. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Any other
Thanks,
councilors
Chief.
have any questions for our chief, or can our mayor use him?
He's still on mute.
Are we-
I don't know.
Somebody needs to send him a text message and tell him to unmute his
I will.
I
computer.
tried. He hasn't, I sent him one.
Could you hear
There
me
you go.
now?
There you go.
There's Herman.
Okay,
There
thank you.
it is.
Hi, Mayor.
Madam President, if there's no more questions for the chief, can we excuse him?
Thank you, chief.
Can't hardly see it.
Thank you, chief.
Okay,
Bye,
thank
Chief.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
All right,
Madam-
Chief.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
Swipe down and then down.
Next item on our agenda is there's background noise.
I hear it.
Virginia, I think that's you.
Is it me?
Yeah,
Huh?
the TV.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought I heard whispering and children, but.
Not here.
Not here.
I got the Bluetooth on, so I know it's not coming here.
Yeah.
The next item is our bids and quotes, Virginia.
Yes, we put the 2009 Freightliner that we replaced, the truck came in last late fall, early winter. Our old truck is ready to go out. We put it on bid on Municipid, and the bids closed at 3:00 today. I did forward an email to everyone this evening. The high bid came in from somebody named Bobby Gerhart. The bid was $38,600. That is very exciting because the DPW had searched around and really expected to get about 25 for it. So.
Where's this gentleman from, Virginia?
He's from,
Local or no?
no, Lebanon, I think, Lebanon.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So anyway, I would ask council if you would vote to accept Mr. Gerhardt's bid.
I will make a motion to accept Mr. Gerhardt's bid and proceeds from the sale of the truck. I would like to put in the capital reserve fund so that should Chief Yarns need the vehicle anytime sooner than what we can get the grant with, we will have some monies available to support the purchase of a new one without having to burden the taxpayers.
Quick question, Virginia. Are there any contingencies on the auction, or is it as
Nope.
is, where is? It's just.
It's as is, where is, they have to come here, and that's all on there. And anybody that's dealt with Municipid knows. The truck is being sold without the plow, without the spreader, and that's very clear in there. We had a lot of interest. We had a number of people that came up and looked at the truck.
Good.
The bidding was really active. Apparently, there was over 150 bids back and
Oh,
forth
wow.
for the past month. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, wow.
And how soon do you think we'll get paid on that? It takes a little bit of time.
I've already emailed them to tell them that I'll be in touch with them tomorrow after we vote tonight, but I imagine within the week he'll
Wow.
be up to get it.
Outstanding. That's great news. Thank you.
I think the price increase also leads a lot of credibility to our borough crew and the condition that they've been able to keep the truck in. So I think an attaboy definitely has to go to them.
And I will convey that. I was really impressed. They cleaned it up. They took beautiful pictures. We got questions throughout the past couple weeks, and they immediately responded so that I could give answers to these people. Anybody that wanted to come see it, they went out of their way to make it themselves available and the truck available. It was good.
Good.
After we have this motion, I do have one other thing I want to add. So I know
Okay.
Dave made a motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion for the opening bid and second the motion that we put it in the capital reserve account.
Excellent.
It's all in one motion, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. I'll second the motion.
There you go. Thank you.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Thank you.
Very
Okay,
good.
while
Thank
I
you.
have you, one other thing, there were 2 trucks that we replaced last year. The second truck came in later. We have now been able to clean that one up, get it up and get it all ready. I'm going to put that on municipal bid for awarding for next month's meeting. We got over what we got for this truck was more than what we budgeted for both of them for our 2021 budget. So it is good news, and we're good putting in capital reserves.
If
So
I
I
could
just
make-
wanted to let you know.
If I can make a suggestion, Virginia, when that gentleman comes up to pick up the truck that he purchased, maybe it wouldn't hurt to put a little bug in his ear that this one here is coming up for sale also. He may be very much interested in that too.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is do we have a motion to accept the,
Well, there's not a treasurer's report to accept. And council, Jerry and I have been talking, our treasurer that is new from September has had some health issues and she's had to resign. The woman who was my second choice, and I feel bad saying that out loud because they were really the same quality, both women. But anyway, she has been willing to come in and help us around the office get caught up while Joanne was out sick. And she is willing to accept the position. You guys had all gotten a copy of her resume a couple months ago, but I did include it in the package again tonight. I'd very much like to ask you, and I actually have it later on, but when we get later on, I'd like you to vote to accept her as treasurer. And the reason I'm bringing all that up is because of all that, we weren't able to get a treasurer's report for this month. I will give it to you next month in addition to the February one. We're still trying to get the accounts caught up with the reconciliation. And she is flying through that.
And her name again, Virginia?
Sarah Lodwick.
Oh,
Sarah
I
Lodge.
remember we interviewed her. She was really good. I thought she
Yes.
was.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. We did interview her.
Yeah, she was definitely there were 2 that came out really well. I liked them both.
Mhm.
And so I hope you guys have no problem. She's been wonderful so far and just the help she's given us.
I would like to make a motion at this time then that we appoint Sarah Ladwick to the treasurer's position and also to get her bonded for the position
Right.
effective immediately.
and also, I just wanted to insert the fact that she's also been working with our auditors, and that seems to be going in a good
Oh, good.
direction too.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we got the auditor to come in and sit down and go through with us what she needs to prioritize and what we can do to make it easy to go into the audits. And she's brand new. And since I've been around for many, many years, but dealing with QuickBooks is different for me. And I can tell you that Leah was impressed with her, or Leah, the partner at the company, was impressed with Sarah.
So that's always been a good report.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, do we have a second for hiring Sarah Lee?
I'll second the motion. Oh, you can go, Catherine. I'm sorry. I don't mean to jump
Sorry,
in.
Bob.
Thank you, Bob. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is our vendor payments to be paid. Do we have a motion to approve the vendor payments?
I will move to approve the vendor payments.
Thank you, Josh. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ronnie. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Now, we have nothing under old business. Under new business, we have the resolution 2021-01 for our meter suspension for the Ice Festival to be held in February. Is there a
Just
date,
as,
Virginia?
yeah, it's the same as always. It's President's Weekend. It's going to be February 12th, 13th and 14th.
Okay,
And just so that everybody knows, the Ice Festival will be on, but it's very limited. They're not going to have all the events that they've had in the past. They have about half of the sculptures at normal, but they are going to display sculptures. But they're not expecting, like they said, the horse and buggy rides. None
Yeah.
of that's going to happen. So it will be much tamed down.
Okay.
Virginia,
oh.
I'm sorry. Could I make a comment? I was just glancing at it here.
Mhm.
And in the ending paragraph of the ordinance, it's accurate there. But if you take a look at where it says whereas up.
It
up
says
in the-
the 12th, and the 14th. I caught that too.
I
Yeah,
just
I'll
noticed
get that
Okay.
corrected before we sign it.
All right, thank you.
And also, council, we always did, we either made Wimpy's, grilled cheese, chili, and any funding that we raised on this went towards our Christmas lights. So we're going to check into it and see. Last year, we were able to use the gathering place. So we'll check into that. So if anybody would like to volunteer a couple hours or something to help out with that, would appreciate it. So you can just email Virginia and let her know. Okay, thank you.
So do we have a motion on the meter suspension?
I'll make a motion to approve the meter suspension during the Ice Festival.
Excellent.
Thank you, Bob. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kathleen. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All opposed, favors have it, 7-0. Thank you. Next item is resolution 2021-2. Our Commonwealth Health Emergency Medical Services that we discussed this once before for our fire department. Do we have a motion to approve the Commonwealth Health Emergency Medical Services?
I just had one quick question.
Sure.
This only increases the plan if it actually starts being utilized at a high rate, correct, Virginia? Like, it doesn't affect the plan rate at this moment. It just depends on if it's getting utilized frequently, then it
Gonna
affects
let-
the plan.
Which plan? What are we talking about?
Are we talking about, oh gosh, never mind. I was getting ahead of myself. Sorry. I thought she had said the health insurance one where we were adding that specific
No.
coverage we had discussed. Sorry.
Oh, okay, so,
Getting ahead of myself. Disregard.
okay.
Gary, I'll make a motion that we approve Commonwealth Health as our primary ALS provider for the borough.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Josh. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Favors have it, 7-0. Thank you.
Along that resolution line, we all have the letter from Sean McPherson, the VP and second Assistant Chief, talking about the additional Commonwealth Health Medical Service response. Did anybody have any questions on that you wanted me to forward on to Mr. McPherson?
If anybody does have questions, I can probably help them out
Oh, that's true.
a little ways, depending. What if anybody is not clear on what it means that the staff at the firehouse will now be Commonwealth Emergency Services, and they will be 24/7. And should there be a time and place in the 24-hour period where the fire company is able to crew any calls that come in while the people are available, then the crew from the fire company will take those calls and Commonwealth Health will still stand by. However, the fire company will be the providers of care for the call that is associated with that time frame. We've had in the past, unfortunately, as everybody knows who's anywhere connected with a volunteer group or organization, the shrinking of people coming out to volunteer their time for anything, especially now with the pandemic going on. And the fire company is certainly not one to be outside of that grouping. And we've just had more and more people that are finding less and less time to devote to the fire company. And because of that, we've unfortunately, and we're not alone. Chinchilla is doing the same thing. Dalton and Factorville are doing the same thing. And it's just the fact that there aren't enough people to man the ambulance for the number of EMS calls that we have in our area. And this goes up and down the valley. Doesn't matter where you go. Everybody has the same plea. You know, we need volunteers. We need people to come out. So this is our solution. We were able to make we were able to do a contract with Commonwealth Services, Commonwealth Emergency Services, and we will have the coverage so that the borough will be covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So there will not be any shortage of emergency equipment if somebody needs transport to a hospital.
Dave, is there any long-term thought going on at the fire company to ultimately discontinue maintaining an ambulance and rely exclusively?
No, we don't feel that's in the immediate future, Josh, simply because that's all part of the fire company, providing not only fire coverage but ambulance coverage too. For us, we provide people to go to EMT classes to get the certification. They spend the time. However, it balances to where sometimes we don't have a driver, sometimes we don't have an EMT. That's unfortunately where the Commonwealth crew comes in. And by having them 24/7, we eliminate that problem. However, we still have sign-up sheets in the firehouse for crews to man between the hours of, I believe, it's 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., I'm going to say. And that way, if there's any calls that come in, there's a crew that will be there on standby to man the calls so that the coverage will be there and lighten the load on Commonwealth a little bit.
I know the training requirements are pretty grueling for the firefighters.
They are, yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on change? Yeah, like, I mean, change the tie, get more people involved, or I know it's tough.
Well, you know, Bob, it's funny because it seems that every year the state comes out with more mandates that are even more stringent than the year before. And in all honesty, it seems like the state is trying to put the little guy out of business so that the larger companies can come in and they don't have to worry about it then. All they have to do is send the mandates out. Then the larger companies are going to have to go along with what's going on, or else they're not going to be able to provide the service. Where when they keep beating up on the little guy, they just, you know, there's certain things that they just can't do, you know. And I mean, I myself was a certified EMT for, I don't know, 12 or 14 years. And the only reason I got out of it was because the paperwork got to be so redundant. Initially you were doing duplicates. And then a few years after that, it went to triplicate. And then a few years after that, it went to 4 copies. And then it went to 5 copies. And it just got more ridiculous. And now they do everything mostly through the computer, but you have to see so many people that are in the group. It's unbelievable. And if you miss, God forbid you miss a line, well, they kick it back and they say that the form is not completed. And then they gig you on that. So there's a lot of difficulty. Newton Ransom no longer has an ambulance. They're out of business. They still provide a QRS, a quick response vehicle. However, their ambulance, they have a brand new ambulance sitting in the building over there on Newton Ransom Boulevard because they couldn't man the ambulance and they missed too many calls. They dropped too many calls and the state came in and yanked their license. So they're in the situation. Now, Factorville and Dalton, they're doing the same thing now with community or with Commonwealth Emergency, and they're trying to get them. And what they're going to do is they're also going to do the same thing that Clark Summit is doing. Chinchilla is doing the same thing, and they're actually housing one of the ALS trucks so that Commonwealth will have an ALS truck up here that is located in Chinchilla, which is a closer proximity for anyone in the Abington area, should they need an ALS truck. So all these are different changes going on in the community that a lot of people really don't know, because they pick up the phone and they dial 911 and the ambulance is there, and they don't question or ask. You know, it's
Take it for granted a little bit.
that's exactly it. Yep.
It's very good protection for our borough, though. I think that it's a good direction to move.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, Dave, you made the motion. Do we have a second?
It was voted on.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
We're good. We're ready for the sewer report.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Jen on our sewer report? Do we have a motion to approve the sewer report?
I'll motion to approve the sewer report.
Thank you, Ronnie. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Bob. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Favors have it 7-0. Thank you. And of course, we've already voted Sarah Ludwig in as our treasurer, so we can
Right.
bypass that. And the next item on our agenda is our solicitor's report.
Earlier today, I circulated a memo just so you could review. The reason I'm not discussing some of the items at the meeting is the first item involves potential litigation involving a billboard that is located along 6 and 11. So I just wanted to give you an update as to what's going on there. If you have any questions, feel free to send me and Jennifer an email, and we can give you the historic background on that situation. Other than that, there's also in that memo, I outlined where we stand on the noise ordinance. I've been working with the borough's SAPA representative, Shannon Brown, who is also an attorney and has a lot to say with regard to the particulars of the noise ordinance. The one thing that I think, and I should have something to you within the week. I reviewed some of the general provisions with the chief, and I think he's in agreement that if we're going to have a noise ordinance, it's going to be based on what is plainly audible, and not the use of a decibel meter, because it's expensive. It's
Right.
And then you have to have certification of your officers, and could be challenged on it. Instead, just have a plainly auditable standard, which we would use in those extreme situations where someone is being disruptive. So I'll have that to you hopefully within the next week. You could get your comments back to me on it, and we could discuss it at the January work session. But I've been trying to work through with Shannon Brown on what he thinks is important in terms of being consistent with what is in the SAPA zoning ordinances. So feel free to give me your comments on that. But that's generally all and also I know Virginia will be closing soon on the TAN, or within the next couple of weeks, correct? So I saw
Yes,
that
hopefully next week.
Landmark will be setting a date for us to close on that.
Good, okay.
That's all.
I have one question, Kevin. Have we heard anything more about our welcome to Clark Summit sign?
So now that there was an issue with the zoning designation, it made it an impossibility for it to be constructed. Well, they would have to have constructed it on the existing monument, because that monument is non-conforming to the designation. So we were able to get that particular plot redesignated as high commercial HC, correct, Virginia?
It's not HC technically, but yeah, it's the comparable zone. It's a
Whatever
matching zone
It's
that would now include it.
commercial downtown. So now that was a holdup. So they are now, that roadblock has been removed with the new ordinance. So they should be able to move forward. That was the biggest issue they had. They can,
Okay.
they can do what they want to do there.
So now we can maybe see it by the summer?
Hope
I
so.
think so, yeah. Virginia, or, Jennifer, have you heard anything from
Gotcha.
RC lately?
Thank you.
No. The biggest issue for us is they were trying to figure out a way to construct it on the existing monument.
hmm
And now
Right.
we were able to change that little plot of where the park is located. So it's no longer an issue. They could put it basically where they want to, as long as it's 15 feet or 25-foot setback.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for them now.
Right.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
I know they're very interested. I mean, they maintain
Good.
they're very interested in proceeding with it.
I've had people say, when is the thing going to get fixed?
Right.
You know, it looks terrible. It's got a couple of lights on it here and
Right.
there. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're not.
Right. I'm sure it's bothering our former council member Pat Williams something terrible. But it's a work in progress, so it is moving forward.
Okay, we'll be able, he'll be extremely happy when he sees that all lit up.
Right.
That'll be great. Thank you again, Susan.
No problem.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is our correspondence from Jim Coleman, which
And we've already addressed that.
we've addressed that whole issue. So does any council members have any other questions or any other issues that they would like to bring before council?
Actually, I have a question for council. We voted last month to go in lockdown at the office until the 11th. I just wanted to know if we want to just go back to open our office then as of next week. Is everybody good with that, or should we extend it?
Well, the
How's it
fact-
going?
Pardon?
I would
How's it
leave it up
going,
to you.
though? I guess people call in, and if they have, like, they need to come to in person, you allow them and stuff like that?
Right. Honestly, there's construction going on in Lockney Hall, so I think the timing has been perfect, and I'm not sure that that's going to be done yet. So my recommendation would be to keep the lockdown at least until that's done, because if they come up the elevator, they'd go right through a construction area.
Why don't you leave it go till the end of the month?
Well,
If that's okay with you guys, that's what I'll do.
That's
No
okay with me.
problem.
That's okay.
Yep.
and just my own recommendation is we'll leave it up to the direction of you, Virginia, to see how the progress is going on the construction. And if it has to-
If you need to extend it, you need to extend it. I mean, you'll know better by
Right.
the work session. You can
Okay.
tell us better then.
Excellent. Thank you for your support. We'll do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, well, do we have anyone that would like to adjourn this meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. Before we adjourn, Kevin and I were talking today, and I realized there's one other thing we want to bring up. Right now, we all have a .gov email address, and we get it through, right now it's coming through platform Cleverfish. We're having problems with that platform. And I'm wondering if council would be okay considering finding another platform to provide us the .gov address. Does anybody have any objections if we look into that?
Please do.
Please do us right.
Yeah, it's been a problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Kevin, Kevin, I'll start
I'll
looking
help you
into
with
that
that.
tomorrow.
We had the same provider, my firm, and we switched to another one, and
Good.
it's been a
Excellent.
improvement. So
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Good.
well, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Ronnie. Do you have a sec? Well, we don't need a second.
Nope.
Everybody. Oh,
I think it's time to go.
Saved by the bell.
Sounds like more correspondence coming in.
By the
Jerry.
bell.
okay. Well, everybody have a good month of January, and we'll see you at our work session. Any questions you have, feel free to get in touch with Virginia, myself, or our solicitors. So thank you, and
Stay
Thank
safe.
you, Jerry.
Take care.
Be safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Night, night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.